everybody. I don't know where to start. Oh yes, I do. Welcome to the Spizzy show. I must tell you, I was very, very encouraged because I was on... Now, what's it called there? Where's Artie? What's it called? LGB, right? So I was on the LGB podcast, on the nice woman there. She was a therapist, so she must be a very centered person, you know what I mean? She said that I didn't think any person was watching the Spizzy, and she was watching the Spizzy on the YouTube. Because you go, where do you go there to watch the Spizzy? I don't know.
SkyGilbert.com.
SkyGilbert.com, you go, you watch. And she said she liked Spizzy, and she thought I was radical on the underground on counterculture. So that's not bad, eh? Let's have a little applause for all that things. So apparently it's going to be extremely filthy tonight. Now, I will prepare you for the fact that I am going to complain starting out about the Pride Guide. So, have you seen this yet? It just came out, the Pride Guide. So this is what they show us, what's going to be happening at the Pride and how wonderful the Pride find. All very exciting, but I'm looking very hard in here and I can't find a single gay men's in this. Come in, Kirsten, come in. So I am a past person who I interview. That's what my audience is, all these past people I interview. What can I say? Okay, so it's called Pride Guide. Yes, and there's no gay men's in it. So I have this thing about the men's. I don't know, but I am gay. Means I like the men's. Means I like their bodies. I like it when they take, don't worry, I'm not going to take off mine. But I like it when they take off their shirts. No men with their shirts off in the Pride Guide. In fact, I had the trouble finding the men's. I think I found a men's or two, but they were fully clothed and looking very in their bedrooms like I am sipping tea. That's not the way I remember the gay men's, so I don't know what to do. Spizzy confused, Spizzy living in New World, but I will tell you what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to cut down on the alcohol. Now, I'm not starting tonight, but I've been going to this thing where I go only, like I used to have 9 shots. That was lowered from COVID, where I was having, well, whatever the fuck is around, right? But I was having 9 shots, and so I went down to 6. Okay, the 6 shots, and suddenly on the 6 shots, I met another man, and it was like, wow, I actually went to his apartment because I wasn't so drunk that I could see him and he could see me. Very, very interesting. And I have not had sex in another man's apartment. I've had lots of sex, let me tell you, but I have not had sex in another man's apartment for, I'll just say 10 years. But if you say, what are you doing, Spizzy? On the street corner, on the alley? Well, mainly in the dark room at the Black Eagle. But yeah, so I mean, I'm used to standing up. So suddenly, there's a bed. So suddenly, you know the things that we were able to do? So, I hope you're sitting down. What he did was, he sat on my face. And why is there this sudden silence in the room? Do you know that song from, I'll tell you who made it popular, Monty Python.
Sit on my face.
Sit on my face, so tell me that you love me. If you love me, go and sit on my face. So I wanted to remind you of that I'm not the first one to mention something like that. So yeah, so there he was sitting on my face, and I'm going, oh my God, this is fantastic. Now the reason I wanted to tell you about that, because there was room on the bed, you see, it's very hard to, you can do, I don't know, have you ever sat on someone's face at the Black Eagle? Or maybe yet, I should better say, how many of you have ever, clap if you've ever sat on somebody's face? Well, you see, there you go. It's something that happens now and then, and I do not feel so alone now. Anyway, so I want to talk, therefore, I just take a segue. Notice the smooth segue into obscenity. And why obscenity is so important. Now, I do lots of the reading of the Shakespeare. Oh, you don't believe that? You don't believe my Shakespeare? I read the Shakespeare all the time. And in the Shakespeare, oh my God, it's so filthy. It's so dirty. How many of you read Hamlet?
Yeah.
Okay. Masterpiece. He puts his head on Ophelia's lap and he says to her, shall we talk about the country matters? I don't think I have to explain that to you. Country matters. You know what he's talking about. And everybody goes like, ooh, but Shakespeare wrote that down. He wrote that a lot. And let me tell you, he wasn't just playing to the groundlings, like people always assume that the working class people are dirtier. Oh, no. The working class people, come right in, sit down. The working class people, they just talk about it more. You know what I mean? But the middle class people, they do all the dirty things too. They do all the face sitting. So there he goes, country matters. And one of my problems is I think that obscenity is important because I think if you all have bodies, and I think if you all have sex, I think it's important to talk about that. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is how I got how I got very angry when Louis C.K. got canceled. Now, do any of you know who Louis C.K. is? Yeah, see, some of you do. Marvelous show. His show was called Louis. Not a lot of people saw it. It was a series, well, I guess lots of people did. They seem to have forgotten. It was a series that happened back in, I don't know, when was it? 2016, 18, whatever. And it was so fucking good, so fucking funny, so fucking real, so fucking great. And then he did very bad thing. He showed his penis to women who didn't want to see it. Don't do that. Never do that. Never show it, only if they want to see it. If a woman wants to see it, you go ahead. You show her your penis over. But if she didn't want to see it, then you put it back in your pants. So he did bad thing. But then what did they do? They canceled him. Now he made a movie. How many of you have seen the movie? I'm doing the poll thing tonight. I know I'm handling all these polls. So how many people have seen the movie? And I bet there'll be 0 people. I Love You, Daddy. There, one person, I don't know who you are, but I'm your friend. Is that Paul? Yeah. I've seen I Love You, Daddy. Paul has seen I Love You, Daddy. It is a really great movie. I love that movie. Now, this movie was canceled along with him. So when I knew it came out just before it almost came out just before they canceled Louis for doing his bad thing. And then you couldn't find it anywhere. And now what it is no one will release the movie, right? So that's our modern censorship, right? Like it's like, no, they don't have, it's the government putting you in jail or horses tearing you apart. No. They just have, you can't get your movie played anywhere because no one will put the movie on. So anyway, I finally found some other strange person because I always talk about the movie and say, I want to see I Love You, Daddy. I can't see it. Anyway, I saw it. It's fantastic. And it is findable. I have it on a stick somewhere. But the thing about it is, I won't even tell you, but it's a movie about Woody Allen, believe it or not. And it's a woman in which he tried to get Woody Allen to be in the movie. Woody said, oh, no, I'm not being in this movie because he's smart. But it's a wonderful movie. And it was all about kind of artists and young women and all that stuff. And I won't explain it, but it's the kind of thing that is very important and very sexual. And you know, a young woman at the end of the movie said, you know what? We're all perverts. That was the actress in the movie. We're all a bunch of perverts. And I thought that was very profound. Okay, you can clap for that now because I'm going to get off stage. But I will now announce someone who is very special to me. We have a past history. No, I don't think we ever fucked. That's something we're going to discuss. But he's someone who is incredibly famous and incredibly talented. Can't believe he agreed to join me. He's going to do a little bit of, are you ready? Are you sitting down? He's going to do a little bit of Buddy for you. He's making his way up here. So I want you to please give a warm welcome to Scott Thompson.
Thank you very much. Oh, hello everybody. And I'm sorry, Louis asked if they wanted to see his cock. No, he asked. Yeah, he asked.
That's right, he made that very clear.
He made it very clear.
Yeah, that's right.
And they dined out on that for many, many years. Oh, this is gonna go well. So, I'm not really prepared. I have to, first of all, I have to apologize for the mustache. I'm going to be doing Buddy Cole with a mustache, which I never do. So I have to apologize for the toxic masculinity of my face. I mean, which I've been apologizing for forever. For being such a fag with a face like this. It's not going well. Anyway, so I have the mustache because I'm doing the Al Parker story. And not even Paul, Al Parker. Have you guys forgotten your porn stars? Jesus.
I remember, Spizzy, remember.
That's right. They died so you could come. I mean, seriously. You are forgetting the heroes of the era. Anywho, so I'm playing him. It's an all, and it's full porn. Like it's just like so, man. It's just something. It's like mustache hole, the whole thing. It's big. It's big for me. So, anyways, I'm going to be doing this Buddy Cole monologue. You'll see. So I'm gonna like turn around and I'm gonna take my jacket off. Taking the jacket off. Put this on. Hold on. There's a couple new jokes, so that's there. Oh, excuse me. I'm gonna need a drink. Just a second. There. Talk amongst yourselves. There it is, right here. Isn't this lovely? Oh. I can still smell the orgies that Mandy used to have with me. You're taking notes. Is this a review? Here we go. Oh. What a perfect time to deliver this monologue. Weeks before, what Pride now is what? 6 months of the year? Oh, it's funny, I'm gonna sit down. When I first came out, it was called the gay community. Even lesbians were called gay. But gay men were never called lesbians, unless they were badly dressed. Well, this didn't make lesbians very happy, so it became the gay and lesbian community. And that was the last time the gay was ever associated with happy. The inclusion of bisexuals at the time was hotly contested. The thinking was, why include them when the gay part's the only part that matters, and that's already covered? But there were too many hot bisexuals out there to ignore. So it became the gay, lesbian, and bisexual community. And an acronym was born. GLB. Then along came a little acronym called AIDS. Gay stock plummeted. Lesbian shares soared. Then one day, one of them said, girls, the boys are on the ropes. It's time for the old switcheroo. And that's how it became the lesbian, gay, and bisexual community. And another acronym was born. LGB. Lagub. Not quite the rhythm of the other one. We muddled along for 15 years. Different things happened. A cocktail was invented that proved very popular with the let's not die overnight crowd. This is new. That worked. People, gay men, pretended that marriage was important. And gay men and lesbians managed to not kill each other. Then one day, along came the letter T. At first I thought it stood for Tina. That's definitely a sexual orientation. It was for me one 93-hour day in June. And a little bit of July riot. Then I thought it might stand for trade. You know, trade. Yeah. Those men who are neither gay, straight, or even bi. Just broke. But I finally realized that it stood for transgender. It was too late. You see, when I was a little boy growing up, I was very pretty. I was so pretty that I was quite often mistaken for a girl. Not as much as I would have liked, but enough to get my way. But one thing I was never mistaken for was straight. You see, being gay isn't just about what you do in the dark. It's also about how you look and sound in the light. The lesbian said, "Stay in your lane, buddy!" The bisexual said, "What lane?" The gay said, "Lois Lane!" And so LGB became LGBT. And so on. 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 So on. Oh, I saw you earlier. And so on. I didn't burn. And so on. 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 So on. And so on until now. In this country, is this right? Yeah. I'm done walking. Yes, that's it. And so now, in this wretched place we call a country, the official acronym is the 2SLGBTQIA+ community. I know it's official because that's what the Prime Minister once tried to say. First and only time he ever made me laugh. Now, no one knows what most of the letters mean, and they're afraid to ask. Here's what I do know. The plus is not for plus size. I learned that the hard way. The G is barely hanging on, and the furries are waiting in the wings. So where do we go from here? Keep expanding the brand until everybody on the planet is queer? From my friend Rolando, who one night in Barcelona took 8 strange loads to celebrate his first day on prep. Ow! To my friend Gail, a blue-haired kindergarten teacher with mobility issues, who, as far as I know, has never had sex with anyone or even intends to, but did once threaten J.K. Rowling with death on Twitter. Or do you say, you know, this has been a great ride, but I think this just might be my stop. So that's what I did. I got off the Rainbow bus just in the nick of time before they drive it off a cliff. Oh, it's the best thing I've ever done. I feel so free. You know, I lost 14 pounds overnight. Turns out most of it was in letters. Oh, I'll never forget that day when I took the big step. I remember as I waited at the front of the bus, waiting for the doors to open, I noticed that my friend Gail was driving the bus. I noticed that her rascal was strapped to the front of the bus in such a way that you knew that it was obstructing your view, but I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to be accused of being ableist. So I leaned in and I whispered, "I wish you well." Then I stepped down off the Rainbow bus, where a group was waiting for me. A leather man with a collar with my name on it. A bull dyke with a dildo with her name on it. And a drag queen with a little baggie of coke. And as the door closed behind me, Gail yelled out, "You go, queen!" I said, "Sweetheart, the queen is dead. I'm the friggin' king."
Do we have a buzzer, Michael? We do have two microphones. That's excellent. Thank you very much, buddy. I don't know what to say because you just sort of read my mind with that.
I thought you might like that.
Oh my God, it's like
It has to be said.
we are so much on the same planet with that. My first question would be,
all gay men our age are. We all think the world's been gone insane.
yeah, well, I think even if they don't say it, most gay men are like, what world am I living in?
What happened?
What happened? And I mean, I will say, now, do you think you could do, I know this is a horrible question, but that's what the interviewer has to do. What could you do? Will you do that anywhere else?
I did a big tour. Like I would never do it in a gay venue because they would never have me.
No, they wouldn't have you.
I mean, I don't go where I'm not wanted, and gays don't want. So I would never. They would never ask me.
The gays don't want Buddy Cold.
Well, they don't want gay men.
No, they don't want.
They don't want gay men. Don't want gay men entertaining them. They only want women to entertain them.
No, it's very, very comforting for you to say that.
They do not want.
Yeah, I think this is so interesting because I will say that we have known each other. I'm going to go. Oh, no, sorry, this is Sky Gilbert. Sky Gilbert's different than Spizzy.
Very
but
different.
Sky Gilbert has a very different. Sky Gilbert.
He's older. He's much older.
He's much older.
He's much older than both of us.
He's a funny daddy, and he doesn't. He's not quite as filthy as Spizzy. Anyway, so first of all, Sky and you, we had to talk. Many. I remember. Oh no, first we have to go way back to your memoir. Was it an autobiography?
Buddy's memoir, not mine.
Buddy's memoir, Buddy Cole memoir. In it, Sky Gilbert told me that you said that he had tried to have sex with you.
Well, I thought everybody was then.
And that sorry, Sky was directing a play. I think it was the play about Andy Warhol, and you briefly played the Andy Warhol.
No, I auditioned for it.
Oh, was it during the Sky?
You didn't.
I did an audition.
You didn't come on to me. I just thought I did well, so you must have wanted to sleep with me.
Well, I will tell you. I will say.
I was very young and
I was willing to. Well, I was. Oh, you were, and I was willing to say that Sky was willing to say because he told me this that you were his type because you were a slender boy.
Yes.
And that was very much what Sky Gilbert was interested in. I take no responsibility for that. So, okay, so it's and then there was another time when, I don't know, you called me, I called you, I do not forget. And we were going to meet, I remember, sorry, not me, Sky, I'm Spizzy. Sky and you were going to meet, and it was on Queen Street, I think, yeah, and I remember you sitting opposite me. I don't know if I'm sure you remember the conversation, but you said something, we said something, I think you were talking at the time, when would that have been, first of all? 90-something maybe?
Yeah,
something
early
like
90s?
Early 90s, and you said something about, I have realized that I am a gay comic, and that is what I will always be.
Yeah.
And you, Sky, you started the gay company, and you was a gay theater guy, and you've been dealing with it for ages. And how do we deal with the fact that sort of you know what I mean? We are the gay.
See, now I would just say comic.
Right.
I would take the gay part out.
Right.
For me, I'm done with that.
Don't work at all.
It's not an identity, and I think it was a mistake.
Oh, okay.
And I actually do. I think what a mistake. I think we were deeply naive. I think it's because we came of age during a war, so we had very different rules.
That's a good
And it
point.
had to be, but I do not consider it my identity any longer.
Mm. Okay, so you just think identity period is a dead end.
All of it.
Ah,
Yes. My new show, King, is basically the what I wanted. I want to destroy identity politics.
that would be fantastic.
I think it's destroying the West.
Fantastic.
I think it's destroying us, and I want nothing to do with any hyphenated world. I do not
fantastic.
want to have any hyphens. I want no one to describe me only by my name, what I do. I'm a comedian. That's the only identity I like.
No, I understand that completely. And
Everything else is nonsense.
I mean, there was a day when it was all about forgetting about various outward things that people had on them or whatever, and saying we are all peoples, and all the peoples are human, and all the humans do the human things. There isn't one kind of human who is worse, one color or different sexuality of human who is worse than any other human. We're all the humans, right? And we seem to have forgotten that.
Oh,
Very much so.
we've doubled down and gone backwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're in a disastrous time. I think we're in a very dangerous time.
We are very
And so
dangerous.
I think it to me it's war again. Like when we came out, we came into the world of AIDS. It was real war. Like it was death.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's a more spiritual death. But I feel called to battle again. Like this is a war. I don't care what happens. I don't care what people say. I don't care how if they demonize me. I don't give a shit because it's war and it's different rules.
No, I applaud you for that so much because I think it's so important for us to just be the peoples again, and I think that we're all hiding in these communities, and now digital though.
Well,
Digital has a lot to do with
our
that.
community's been completely taken over,
Yeah, of course.
colonized by boring straight people who want to be interesting. And it's like do something interesting. Like do something actually interesting. Like it's not your play. I'm done with it.
But don't you think that
I'm just done with it.
don't we think we have to
sick
get
of
the
it.
people off their phones? He said as he goes on to
Well,
his
that's
phone.
a much greater issue. I mean,
But to me, it's very much a part of it.
Well, it
because
is.
people are
Why are
so
you doing
lost.
this when you're talking
I know,
to me?
I know, because I'm looking at what I was going to ask. Oh, I know I was going to ask you. So I was going to ask you if comedy was dead.
well, no, it's not dead. It's definitely under fire,
It's definitely
and it's
fighting.
definitely fighting. But it will come back, and it will come because it's just human nature. You just can't kill that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to. And this suffocating political correctness that we've been living under for quite a few years is just. I think people are done with it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think when it comes back, it's going to be explosive.
Well,
and I want to be part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I remember when the 911, yes! When the 911 happened, and that was a big thing that people went around going, oh, I don't know if we should tell a joke. Because 911 happened. Now, in my understanding, and this is here we go back to Shakespeare again, this is a Shakespearean understanding, the only way we as humans can understand pain and death is with humor. That is the
Absolutely.
way we understand.
Yeah.
That is one of the ways that we are able to, because
Yeah.
it's something that we all share. It's something-
And anybody that talks about humor being problematic and talks about things that are beyond humor is someone you should just run from.
absolutely
They are
nothing.
absolutely the
No,
enemy.
I went to this horrible theater conference in 2016. It was or 18. It was absolutely horrible. It was the beginning of all the horribleness for me. And in that, they were talking about drag queens and saying, you know, drag queens, their comedy is very cruel. It's very cruel. And I would say, so as far as I know, all of my comedy,
well, you
all
call
of
it
your
you call it comedy.
yeah, well, exactly. But I'm saying that all of our comedy comes from anger. Like everything that
All comedy.
just-
I say comedy is violence for physical cowards.
Exactly. Thank you.
Oh.
Let's write that
To take the
down.
violence out of comedy is to destroy comedy.
Exactly.
It's a way for us to.
Nothing.
It's a steam valve for society, and when you block it off, society will explode in ways you're not comfortable with. It'll explode in violence,
And
actual violence.
Exactly, and that's the way I feel about the art in general, because when the art art used to be like Dionysus, like Bacchanal, like
No.
people getting drunk and going crazy, and the whole play of
no.
the Dionysus the back guy is about a bunch of women who go to the woods. Of course, it's happening a little bit much now, but who go to the woods and they have sex with each other, and then they burn up all the guys. But I mean, it was all about the kind of the sex and the drugs and the rock and roll and all of that. That's what art. That's what the definition of art and theater was. And now it's like,
Oh, no.
I am going to give you a lecture about
Oh,
the
it's
environment,
awful.
and I hope you're all listening. I'm going to plant both of my feet. You know what I mean?
It's all awful.
Both of my feet on the floor, and you're going to have to listen to this, and there's going to be no comedy, there's going to be no irony. And I also appreciate the day when we used to not know who was the good guys and who was the bad guys.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
anyway. It's one thing that drives me absolutely crazy. Now we're onto that. So I also like to talk about a couple of things because Jonah, I don't think you're quite as ancient as I am, but it seems to me that we both are on the other side of the youth. We're
Well,
on the
yeah.
other side.
Well, that's the thing, yeah, because now I can risk it because I go, well, maybe I actually never got laid for being famous before anyways. So it's not going to change anything.
Did you ever have the experience that I had? And I'm much less. I haven't told
No,
you.
gay men don't.
I haven't told you the experience yet.
Okay.
But it's much less. I'm much less famous than you. But I did have an experience once where someone was blowing me, and they stopped in the middle of it and said, I'm blowing Sky Gilbert and I can't handle it. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, well, just get back to the job.
Handle it.
But I mean, like, you must have had some situations where.
Oh, I've had situations afterwards where they say, I know who you are.
Yeah, right.
But I've never been. I've never, like, straight guys in comedy, which is the vast majority.
Right. Yeah.
They get most of them get into comedy or rock and roll for girls.
Yeah, to get
that
laid.
does not work for gay men. If I did that, I would never be in comedy. I do it actually just for comedy. I do it. I have to do it. So like I'm a true comic. I'm not trying.
You have to really
I'm not
love
trying.
it.
I don't
You
get.
do it to get
I don't
laid.
get cock or pussy from it, right? So I get women. Women throw themselves at
Right.
me.
I know that's when I went to see Mouse Congress.
You see?
Now, there was a woman in the front row who's like, oh my goodness, she's like throwing her panties at you.
Because women love funny. It makes women horny.
Yeah.
It doesn't make.
so
look
true.
at these three women over here. Look how
That's
horny
so
they
true.
are.
When, haven't you ever seen that when they ask the women when
They do. It's true.
on those bachelor shows where they say, what draws you to a man? The men go, what draws you to a woman? They go, oh, she got to be pretty. And they go to a woman and say, what do you draw you to a man? She go, if he has a sense of humor.
Yeah, I know.
That's what they always say, right?
And when a man says, "Oh, the woman has to have a sense of humor," what they really mean is she better find my jokes funny. And that's what they think a woman's sense of, if she thinks they're funny. So
they have to listen to him all the
So
time.
no. So I'm just hoping that the young ones, the young gays, maybe they're not as ageist, which is nice.
No, they are not as ageist.
No.
But what do you think about the young in general? Like, what
Well,
are
I
they
think
going
my
to do?
monologue said, I'm terrified.
Yes, terrified.
They
Exactly.
terrify me.
Well, I just finished. Just finished reading this book, and it was about the '60s, and about an older woman in the '60s, and she's talking about her children coming to her. And this was back in 1965. And the son comes in and says, "I am going to Asia with my girlfriend. We have an Asian baby, and you are bourgeois, and you don't understand, and you say the wrong word. You say Asiatic, but the word is Asian, and I'm mad at you for saying." Do you know what I mean? And then it was all very much. It was exactly, and here we are, exactly the same.
But now
thing.
it's
It
worse
struck
because
me.
we have like a triple threat. We had, first of all, we had a huge generation of helicopter parenting, which changed everything.
Right.
You have the internet, which drove everybody indoors and inside themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You have the self-esteem movement, which has been disastrous for the world, and the uplifting of children who can do whatever they want. And that is a perfect storm and society. And then you have a society which has lost faith in itself and is now actively punishing itself for even being successful. So we have a disastrous situation.
And I was hoping that it was a COVID, because the lesson from COVID was
COVID.
you are going to be all right if you have your computer. You don't need the other people's. All you need to do is sit at home with your computer, and because they didn't have it during the Great Flu thing, right, in 19 whatever. They didn't have computers, so they said, oh, it's better now. But then it drove us crazy.
And I always say with
went to our
COVID, the reaction was, I think Canada went insane.
Oh,
I think
absolutely
Canada's
think
reaction to COVID was insane. And I think that the mental health ripples are going to be far worse than what COVID did.
Because of all of those younger people who went through that
Exactly.
shit.
And what I find fascinating about COVID is that we took a disease which overwhelmingly, you couldn't even talk about who was really dying. You couldn't talk about obesity. You weren't allowed to talk about the literal elephant in the room. You weren't allowed to talk about the fact that it was only old people.
Yeah.
You couldn't say that. And yet we punished the old people, and we punished young people who had nothing to fear. It was madness. And that's because of helicopter parenting. I think that it was the pandemic was we were treated like we were a kindergarten class, and it was a stern mistress.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was. I think it was I know I'm talking to the horny women over here, but I think it was a far more female response to a pandemic, and it was more about we must protect everybody, and men don't mind risk. I think the first pandemic 100 years ago was we lived in a full-on patriarchy.
They were at war. The men went out to the war
That's
when
right.
the flu happening.
And people were tougher then. There's no question they were way tougher. And so we were treated like children with idiot mittens on.
Well, the other part of it is you must not forget is also the moralistic aspect of it. The mask now, for me, I realize that some people have the health problems, but the mask means now I am a good person.
That's right.
I wear a mask. I care. And if you didn't back then, remember, if you did not wear the mask, people might even come up to you instead of wagging their fingers at you. They say,
But luckily, Sky, we don't care.
well, I don't. No, me no care, no whatever. I guess that's all I was going to ask you. So that's about the young. All I meant to say is that, and there's nothing wrong with adopting the Asiatic babies or Asian. What I'm saying is that the children were saying, fuck you to the parents. That's all that they cared about saying, right? That was the center. And they grew up to be horrible middle-class people.
That's
all
always
of
the
those
way.
hippies. I just think that's important to remember. So all of those woke kids reimagine that they're all going to, be correct, that they're all going to be bisexual and supersexual and being animals in their dreams in real life, like whatever the woke peoples do. They're going to be like that when they grow up. No, they're going to get married and have children and become odious middle-class people like everyone else. You mark my words. And if we could stop that pattern somehow of everyone growing up to be the same boring person, that might be good. But I don't know. But we do our best to stop that.
We do.
So I think I'm going to have to end it there. But I want to thank you very much, Scott. I can't believe that we have so much anger in the two of us. And I